Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with my pre-release video. I hope you can see this okay. I'm using a crappy webcam at home. I am in the process of getting one that will actually pick up cards better. But this is the pre-release I ended up going 4-1 with. I chose the Silumgar deck box and was actually very pleased to see the foil Silumgar. See if that'll focus here. Which is the Flying Death Touch. When Silumgar enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature or planeswalker for as long as you control Dragon Lord Silumgar. So it was a pretty easy decision to go black-blue when my entire pool, in fact the packs that I opened, were just loaded with black-blue cards. So I ended up going to an exploit deck, and this deck is incredibly fun. I'm going to say this right now, I haven't had as much fun in a pre-release since probably Innistrad, as this deck just had so much synergy and it was just a blast to play. So the one matchup I did lose was against aggro. I couldn't handle the... he played a 4/4 on turn 3 or a 2/2 on turn 2 and then enchanted it into a 4/4 first striking on turn 3. And then I had a 5/5 following up, and both games were very similar, and I just could not handle the aggro. But at the 1-drop, this is a pretty sweet deck. Again, apologies for the quality. We got the goblins, the new shambling goblins, which are the new replacement for the festering goblins. Now they only target your opponents. So I had, I believe, 7 cards that wanted to die and 11 cards that exploited in here. So here we have one of my favorite exploit cards, and I'm actually going to work around this Kazari Sadist, as well as, so there's a 2-drop exploit, and I did go first turn Goblin into a 2-drop exploit. And then we have the Palace Familiar that wants to die. It's a 1/1 flying that when it goes to graveyard, draw a card, or when it dies, draw a card. And then we had a Minister of Pain, which is actually an amazing combination between the Goblin. So we had the Goblin that deals 1 when it goes, or -1/-1 when it goes to graveyard, and Master of Pain when it exploits something, all their creatures get -1/-1. So I was able to board wipe against a White Weenie deck when he had a 2/2 out and a bunch of 1 toughness cards with just the Goblin and the Minister of Pain. Now, I had, in the 3-drop slot, I had a ton of other cards that want to die. I had a whopping 3 Dutiful Attendants. And these dudes were so awesome. Dutiful Attendant says, again, I apologize for the quality here. When Dutiful Attendant dies, return another target creature card from your graveyard to hand. A lot of games, I'd have 2 of these, one in hand, or one on the battlefield, one in the graveyard. And they just created kind of a loop. As when one Dutiful Attendant died, I could bring back another Dutiful Attendant to my hand and play a card. And then at our 4-drop slot, I had another card that wanted to die with the Youthful Scholar, as well as the cards, the exploit cards, and these ones were really good. We have basically this becomes a Sign in Blood exploit guy, which is the Voltress Aven, 3 mana for a 2/3. When it exploits a card, you lose 2 life and draw 2 cards. And then this one's actually really good as well. This is kind of like a Forbidden Alchemy type card. When it's the Gurmag Drowner, it is a 2/4. When it comes into play, you exploit a card. Then you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand and the rest in your graveyard. And then we had 2 of those. And then this is my favorite exploit card by far. This is the Silumgar Sorcerer. It did so much work. It has Flash 2/1 when it exploits counter-target creature spell. And I was able to counter some very, very clutch cards. Now, I was a little bit low on the finishers, but a lot of times I would just get so much card advantage that I'd be able to wipe their boards or just kind of control the field, just make them use a lot of resources to kill off all my guys, and start creating these kind of loops and just out card advantage tempo them. And then one of the cards that allowed me to do this is this -3/-3. This one's the Silumgar Butcher. When it's a 3/3 for 5 mana, and then you can exploit to give a creature -3/-3 until end of turn. So I was able to kill off a ton of cards in the format, or swing in, make them block, and then kill off, do the remaining 3 negative toughness by this. Now my finishers was basically, it was a lot of games with this Rakshasa Gravecaller, which is a 3/6 for 5 mana that puts 2 zombies into play. And then we also had the Dragon Lord Silumgar that usually by the end of it would take their bomb and then allow me to kind of finish them off with their own bomb card. And I actually looped this guy a lot. Like sometimes you'd have I remember I cast him 3 times in one game against an opponent when 2 of these dutiful attendants got him back. And I ended up at the very end of the matches a lot of times instead of... Dragon Lord Silumgar actually died a lot. There's a few cards that could actually kill him. Killing Wave, I believe. Is it Killing Wave or not? Not killing something. Tarkir just gets -X until end turn. Killed this guy a lot. So what I ended up starting to do is when I'd grab my opponent's card, then I'd exploit it off something else and just get it done with and dead. Because if Silumgar does die, they get their creature back. And it ended up costing me a game when I went to take one of his guys, and then he just immediately killed Silumgar and then got his guy back anyway. So, but the Dutiful Attendant was really cool with it because this has Death Touch. If you have to block with Silumgar, you trade with you take their bomb, exploit their bomb, trade with their other bomb, and then eventually get it back with Dutiful Attendant. Now I had some awesome tricks here as well. I had Ojutai's Breath, amazing card. It's a tap down a creature, does not untap during its opponent's next untap step, and then rebound. So a lot of times you could actually tap 2 guys down for an attack phase, and then get in there for that last bit of damage. Speaking of tapping 2 guard downs, we had a Will of the Naga, which taps 2 down, they don't untap. And then I had 2 Anticipates to really set up my deck, and it allowed me to go 16 lands with 2 Anticipates, as I really could control the board to get to the amount of lands I need to get to Silumgar, or anticipate to find out the lands that I actually needed. As well as just drawing so many cards, like I said with this deck, it was insane. Now, a lot of the times I was very, very close to milling myself, so I had Grave Purge to put all the cards back on top of my library, all my creatures, set up more of the exploits, and just prevent myself from milling myself. And the MVP of the night, by far, this amazing, amazing card, this is the Mirror Mockery. Mirror Mockery says, camera doesn't focus here, now it's way out of whack here. It says when an enchanted creature attacks, you may put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy. And this combination, my favorite target for that, it was definitely the Silumgar Butcher, because this combo here was just plain insane. You would be able to put a Mirror Mockery on the Butcher, and then when it attacks, it puts another Butcher in, and a lot of times you could just kill your own Butcher token and give a creature -3/-3 and kind of clear the way for your attackers. Now, I was really disappointed. There was a few cards that I didn't get to play. Rare-wise, I got some really, as you saw there, I only had 2 rares, the Mythic and that bomb of a card, the Mastery. But I really wanted to play the Rally the Ancestors with an Exploit deck, and spoiler, I'm going to try to make that work. Exploit with Rally the Ancestors. It just seems like a broken combination to bring back all your Exploit cards, especially if some are drawing like 4 cards, and then going through 3 of your cards and then putting the rest in your graveyard. So you basically bring them all back. So you'd have to have 6 mana for the combo with the blue dude that looks at the top 4 cards. But anyway, you get 3 cards in your graveyard and then a card, maybe another Rally, and then cast Rally. In fact, there is another card in the set. If you unmorph it, megamorph it, you can actually return a non-creature, non-land back from your graveyard to your hand. You can kind of have like infinite loops with Rally the Ancestors. So I was really disappointed that I didn't have any fixing, no Evolving Wilds. My one fixing out of the entire thing was a foil Scoured Barrens out of all the packs, so I was not able to go it. Another rare was just this Radiant Purge, which was a decent card. It was an exile target multicolored creature, multicolored enchantment. I could see this being played in Standard over the Erase, as Erase versus Radiant Purge kind of has, like, Radiant Purge can't kill a Corsair Crewfix, but it can kill a Jeskai Ascendancy still, and can also kill a Siege Rhino, so... I mean, a great standard card, really crappy and limited. And this pile of garbage, actually, it would have been okay in my deck. Although my opponent usually didn't have a lot of creatures out either. This is the Clone Legion, but it's a whopping 9 mana. For each creature target player controls, put a token on the battlefield. A copy of that creature, but again, it's just 9 mana, good luck. I did bring this in against 1 mirror. That was my achievement for the day, was to try to get this one's called the Hedonist Trove. When it enters the battlefield, exile cards from their graveyard. You can play lands from there, that exile, or you can cast spells. But it doesn't say, you may cast on the cards exile with Hedonist Trove. You can't cast more than 1 spell. So you still have to cast them, and you still have to pay their mana cost, which is very difficult in a 2-color deck without any fixing. So I did bring it against a mirror, and it was kind of fun, but it was kind of a worthless card as well. Had some other playables that I decided to play, like a Refocus, which I wish my camera would do. Refocus, and a CDC's Faithful, which is kind of cool, a 0/4 for 1, and then if you exploit, you can bounce a creature, but its sorcery speed bounce isn't that great. And then we got the Wannabe Force a Whale, counter target spell, draw a card. And then I had some cool like Ojetu summoning. So I had plenty of playables in blue left. My black was pretty much played all the playables. Had a duress and a few other things, but didn't really. My red was really sweet, but didn't have enough cards to make it work. But all in all, I had a great experience. It was incredibly fun. This is my favorite deck in a long time I played. It felt like playing a standard deck. All the cards worked together. So anyway, I'm going to do a top 10. I haven't forgot about the top 10. Dragons of Tarkir is my favorite set since Innistrad. I haven't been so excited to brew around them. And it's kind of the opposite set as Khans of Tarkir. Khans of Tarkir was just a bunch of cards that had value within themselves. You had like Siege Rhino and like Mantis Rider, all these cards where they really wanted to promote using the guild, so they made them really good by themselves so people would actually play the clans. Like Siege Rhino, it means that they're going to go into the Abzan colors, etc., etc., etc. And then we had Fate Reforged, which is a little bit better because a lot of the cards had to work around, but a lot of them just still had a lot of value by themselves, like Monastery Mentor. Dragon seems to me to be a set that really wants to, is a brewer's paradise more than just more of a spike player, where all the cards need to actually brewed and fit in a specific deck. And there's so many of these cards though out of Dragons. Dragons is a very powerful set. I've heard some comments that it's a very Timmy set. I totally disagree with that. There are a lot of cards that are Impact Modern as well as Standard. It's going to be a real fun time to see how this set messes around with Standard. Anyway, I apologize for the crappy video camera. We're actually, me and MTG Ultra Boy are saving up for a nice Nikon camera that's going to pick up all the details lovely. So again, if you're interested in supporting that, you can always buy a playmat, and that'll go towards getting that camera, and we're going to have some pretty sweet videos coming up. Anyway, this has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.